Hey guys, welcome to the Moment of Clarity, Lessons in Leadership. I'm Dr. Williams, and today we're going to talk about the third worst phrase in leadership. We're already doing that. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so let's talk about it. The third worst phrase in leadership, in my opinion, is we're already doing that. Man, when I hear that we're already doing that by leaders, by groups, by leadership teams, it really bothers me. Now, I have to clarify this a little bit in order to be fair, right? There are some people that bring ideas that you are legitimately already doing, right? There are stakeholders, there are people outside of the organization who don't know the inner workings of the organization. They don't know how things go down. They don't know what happens. They may not know the vision. They may not know the mission of the organization. So sometimes when they bring up something that you're already doing, it's out of ignorance because they just don't know. Right? But what I'm talking about specifically is when we come together as a leadership team, when you bring your leadership team together, when you bring that group together and you have one on the leadership team or two or three on that leadership team that questions whether or not the leadership team is doing something, that should cause for pause. You should look and then say, hey, maybe we need to evaluate what we're doing to see if it's effective and efficient, right? Because anytime you're operating a organization, what you should be looking for is effectiveness and efficiency, right? Let me say that again. Anytime you're operating any type of organization, I don't care if it's a school district, a church, it could be a team, an organization, a sports organization. You're looking for effectiveness and efficiency, right? Because you don't want to burn people out because you're ineffective and you're not efficient, right? And you want to give your customers, if you're in that type of business, you want to give them the best experience possible. So it's always important to check whether or not you're being effective and efficient. So let's talk about the third worst phrase in leadership. Listen, if you don't know the first two worst phrases in leadership, you need to make sure you look below and go in and visit the Moment of Clarity to see what they are. The first worst phrase in leadership, I believe, is we've always done it this way, right? I believe that's a terrible phrase to say as a leader, because just because you've always done it doesn't mean it's the most effective and efficient way to do it moving forward. And then there are times where you change what you're doing, but you need to revert back to what you used to do because things change. The world changes, ever evolving, right? The second worst phrase I believe in leadership is it's happening everywhere, right? And I believe that phrase, while there can indeed be some truth to that phrase, I believe the majority of the time that we hear that, it is because people are trying to say that, hey, we're not going to look at what we're doing because everybody is struggling. And what we see with organizations that thrive is they go beyond, they think proactively, and though everybody may be facing the same circumstance, they are dealing with it in a different way. Listen, but the third worst phrase in leadership, I believe, is we're already doing that. And I'm going to give you two reasons why I believe that that is the third worst phrase in leadership. One reason that is the third worst phrase in leadership, in Dr. Williams' opinion, is because what it does is it deflects from you analyzing as the leader whether or not your systems are effective and efficient. Listen, if you're not willing to analyze your systems on a regular basis, if you're not willing to reevaluate your systems on a regular basis, your business, your company, your church, your school district is not going to be as effective as it should be. This will be an indictment on your leadership style or your leadership competency, right? You should have people in place who are designed to give you feedback on a regular basis on how efficient and effective your systems, your policies, and your procedures are. that will cause your organization to grow. Not only grow if you're looking at finances, but it's going to cause the people within your organization to recruit other people to your organization because you're so effective and you're so efficient, right? So when someone on your leadership team says, hey, we need to try this idea. Let's try this innovative idea. And I understand this idea may be outside of the box, right? This may be opposite of what we normally or typically do. When your response is we're already doing that, what it does is it also indicts the person who brought that innovative idea. Because if you were already doing that, the leadership team would already know it. Right? And so there's a problem when you hear leaders say, hey, we're already doing that, but they can't give you the supportive data to show how it is effective, right? It all goes back to effectiveness and efficiency. Whereas you may be doing it. If it's not effective or efficient, you're not doing anything, right? So the second reason I believe that people say this because they don't want to humble themselves as leaders and look back at their practices and procedures and change, right? Change is the only constant in life. Everything is always changing. You can depend on things to change. The problem with us as leaders oftentimes is we don't like change because change pulls us out of our comfort zone. Right? Change allows us to grow, and growth is always painful, right? I can remember growing up, and I had a friend, I'm gonna mention his name. I don't know if he's gonna see this, but his name was Shannon Beeling, amazing basketball player, went on to play at Mississippi Valley State, and he was a great basketball player, right? He evolved as a basketball player, but he got so tall, so fast that he would have knee pain whenever we were playing the game. Right? Because growth is painful, right? Whenever you're growing, there is going to be pain associated with it, right? But on the other side of that pain is success, right? And if you want to be a successful organization, if you want to be a successful leader, you have to reevaluate, and reevaluate. That has to be a practice that is welcomed within your organization. You have to have the ability to reevaluate, and you have to have the systems in place to reevaluate on a regular basis. You have to always be listening and looking to reevaluate your processes and your procedures. So the third worst phrase in leadership is, we're already doing it. If you have to say that we're already doing it, then what you are already doing is not effective as it should be or efficient as it could be. This is Dr. Williams with the moment of clarity. Leave me a comment below. Like, share, and subscribe. And remember, if no one's following you, you're just walking. Until next time.